Welcome to Expert Profiles Atlanta, where Atlanta's influencers and innovators share strategies for overcoming obstacles and achieving success in business and life. Here's your host, best-selling author and Atlanta influencer, Neil Howe.
Hello and welcome to the show. This is your host, Neil Howe, and today my special guest is Callie Cullum, and she helps creative entrepreneurs and small business owners build intentionally designed brand identities and websites. After 5 years in the corporate world, she moved from San Francisco to Atlanta to pursue her dreams of running her own business. She is now the co-founder of The Look and Feel, an online brand agency she runs with her business partner, coach and writer, Shelley Jackson Buffington. And she also runs her own personal design business at Callie Cullum Designs. Callie, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Well, let's get right into the story. Give us a little bit about your background, and then we'll get into who it is that you help.
Yeah, so I am from the South, so I'm back in Atlanta, and I went to school at Appalachian State and got a Bachelor of Fine Arts degree. And then I moved out to San Francisco in the Bay, and I kind of did the corporate thing, and then I also did some nonprofit work, so kind of got both sides of that. And after about 5 years, I moved back to Atlanta and started running my design business, Callie Cullum. And about a year ago, I teamed up with one of my coworkers in San Francisco, and we started The Look and the Feel.
So who is it with The Look and the Feel that you help? Is it a branding agency? Is that right?
Yeah, we are a branding agency, and we help businesses and organizations that are looking, mostly we work in the wellness and the creative and adventure sectors. Nice. So really we're looking for people that are, passionate about their work and that are really trying to put good into this world.
Now, one thing that I noticed just by reading a little bit about you and talking to you a little bit beforehand is you do a lot of traveling. Tell me about that. Yes,
so travel and adventure is one of my favorite things to do, and kind of inspires a lot of my work. So, one of the main reasons I wanted to start my own business is so that I could have the freedom to travel and do, the things that I wanted to do, see the world. And I think it's really been great because it's really helped me, seeing all the new cultures gets you inspired and keeps you inspired, and it informs all my work.
I think that is really important. And sometimes, people from the United States that don't really get out and see the rest of the world don't really appreciate that. I always think that traveling is the best education, and especially if you're in that creative design world as you are, it gives you a lot of inspiration. So how are you putting this inspiration to work, Callie? What kind of things are you doing for your clients?
I just got back from a trip to Copenhagen, and, I'm working with a lot of clients right now. And it's funny. I was, walking down the streets of Copenhagen, and you see some architecture, that's so much older than what we have in the States. And it kind of just inspires me to, create their logo or create their brand. And I try to, we work with people, and we have a coaching program that we work with them to figure out their brand story and really get them to understand what makes them unique. And I think knowing those things and then putting all these different, cultures and things I'm seeing into play, combining those two can really help our clients stand out.
So as far as these businesses that come to you, and is it web design work that you do and web development?
We actually do the whole package. So all the graphics, logo, the writing, and the websites as well, and any kind of marketing materials.
Okay, so when they come to you and it's your job to get that story out of them, what kind of process do you go through in order to do that?
So that's my business partner, Shelley. She's a certified coach. So that's one of the big things that she does. And she hosts these coaching sessions. You can have different packages with different amounts of coaching, and it's less like doing a lot of work, but it's more like, getting on the phone with a friend and just really talking about it, about your business and about, why you're doing it and what you're passionate about. So by doing that people kind of start telling her without even knowing that they're telling her, even know what their story is.
Right. And some businesses really have a problem with that. They get into business to help people, but they're not very good at telling their story, or they might not even know that they have a story. How are you able to get that out of them?
So we just, with the coaching program, Shelly's able to do it. And then we, how do we do it? We just kind of, we see what they like and we see what their values are, their values outside of their work. That can inform a lot of why they're doing their work. And so getting them to tell us about their lives and tell us about, their things that they like to do, their hobbies, that can really inform their work. And they don't necessarily know that those are even connected.
So it's really all about their why and finding out why they do what they do.
Right.
So tell me why that is important to portray that message through your website or your marketing.
Yeah, so we like to say that people they're not buying a product or a service, they're buying a story. We sell their story, and that's what we want to communicate to them, and what we want our clients to understand, that they need to sell that story, and that's what's going to make them stand out, and that's what's going to make them unique and want people to invest in them.
It's like Apple, they have such a loyal following, and it's because of their story. It's the background that people want to get connected to. So yes, telling that story is very, very important.
Yeah, and it's interesting because sometimes it's a subconscious thing too. With like Apple, you're not even consciously buying this story, but you already know it and you're familiar with it, so you trust it.
Well, it becomes ingrained.
Yeah.
Once you have got the message and you align with that message, it definitely becomes ingrained in you, so that you're not looking elsewhere.
Yeah, exactly.
So how do you, from a design perspective, get that message to come across?
So that can be a tricky part, and that's why people invest in us. But trying to really getting the content and the graphics aligned. So having this content written and then using that story to inform all my graphics and make sure that they're aligned with that story is one way. And that's trying to. It can be really hard because, graphics can be such a simple thing, and you have to convey this whole story in one little icon, and that can be a big challenge. But just trying to resonate with that story and kind of get it ingrained, like the Apple thing, get it really ingrained in my head and really understand it, then that can, help me to kind of distill it into these simple little well-designed graphics.
So it's very important for you to have a close relationship with the people that you're working with.
Yes, we really value that. And we feel like, becoming partners and becoming friends throughout the process is really, really helps us do really good work.
So what does this all mean from an ROI standpoint? What does it mean for a business to be able to get that message out rather than just having a bland, kind of blank web page?
I think it honestly is it will determine their success. I think if you can sell that story and, you just don't have something that we always hear that, I just want something simple and clean. That's, we hear that all the time. And that can be great. And that you can have a simple and clean website, but you've still it's still a process where you have to really sell the story through the simple and clean website. So I think if you invest in your story and learn to understand your story, you'll be successful. And if you don't, then you're probably going to have less success as a business.
Very good. So how do you incorporate the functionality of a website into that user experience as well?
So I like to think that, functionality actually comes before design. You want, the user experience to be something that is effective. If you get on a website and it's beautiful, but you don't know how to use it, then it's kind of, you kind of don't want to be there. You leave and you get confused. So I think really, mapping out the functionality of the website and then bringing the design into that and how you can make that, look beautiful, but also be extremely functionable and keep your visitor there and wanting to engage with it.
Right. There's a lot of websites out there that you just land on and you don't know what to do. You literally don't know what to do. Maybe there's just so much information you don't know where to get started. So how important is it to have, cues, do this, do that, or specific calls to action?
It's extremely important. One of our favorite phrases is that a confused customer never acts. So, and you never want someone to not act on your site. So putting that first and foremost, telling your visitor when you get there, tell them what to do, what you want them to do next. Do you want them to, learn more, or do you want them to purchase something immediately? Kind of guiding them. It's kind of like a roadmap through the site. You want to guide them to where you want them to land.
Mm-hmm. And how important is the copywriting? Because I think even though most business owners know the most about their business, obviously, they often struggle to get those words on paper or on the website.
Yeah, it's extremely difficult. And, if you don't know your story, it's hard to write your story. And even if you do, it's hard to write. We always hear people that struggle writing their about page or their sales page because you don't want to sound spammy or salesy. So I think the content is extremely important, and it should be the thing that informs everything around your brand.
And, things have changed with Google over the years as well now, to where the whole idea of keyword stuffing and make sure you have all those keywords in there doesn't really jive anymore, does it?
Oh, not at all. You don't want to sound like you're just repeating the same thing or, keyword stuffing. It's really frowned upon.
Okay, so what are some of the misconceptions that people might have about hiring somebody to do the website design and branding for their company?
So I think a lot of people think that, they think they're going to spend thousands of dollars to get something that is just a logo or just something that looks pretty. And they really don't understand the value of what a good brand is. And it can be a hard thing to understand. So we really want to educate our clients that you're not just getting something that looks nice or something that's well written, or just even just getting up online. It's not as simple as that. And educating them and getting them to really understand that it's something intangible. It's the story that you have that makes you unique. That's the most important thing that you're buying when you invest in us.
Right. That's a very important point, because if you're not different from somebody else, I always use accountants. I don't mean to pick on them all the time, but it's kind of a bland, numbers market. But what makes that accounting firm different than the hundreds of other ones in the city?
Yeah, exactly. It's hard to, and it's with the online business or the online world now, it's hard to stand out because there's, thousands, even millions of people doing the same thing as you. So just finding that story and understanding what your core traits and what makes you unique can automatically help you kind of stand out. And, it's not going to appeal to everyone. It's going to appeal to a specific audience that is your ideal customer. And that's what you want. Some people want to just appeal to the mass general public, and that's not really going to work. You're always going to appeal to some specific. So why not, really drive that message into the audience that you want to come to you?
Yep, that's important. The riches is in the niches. So talk to me about time. What are the expectations of time to have something like this done for a company?
So it's a process, and a lot of people want it to be quick, and we always have to tell them, it's not going to be something you can turn around in 4 weeks, a whole brand. It's going to be, ours are usually around 3 to 6 months to build the whole full branding package. And, some people understand that, some people don't. And when they don't, we really educate them as why it takes so long, because first they've got to understand their story, and then we've got to understand it. And then we all have to work together to build it out. So it's this process, and I think it's definitely worth the time and worth the investment.
Definitely. It's a good investment to be able to get that story out properly and share that story. Now, Callie, talk to me about some of the fears that these people might have about getting their story out there.
Let's see. Some people I think they come to us and they're not confident in their work already. So I think confidence is a big fear, or lack of confidence. And if you're not confident in your work, if you're handing out your business card and you're kind of clenching and shying away from it, or making excuses of why your website isn't looking the way you want it to look, then you're not going to be confident in your story or your work or your brand. And we want people to come to us, and we want to give them that confidence so that you're selling the story, you're selling this product or service, and you're feeling confident about it. You're excited to talk about it. And I think that can really elevate your success, because, if you're shy about your work, people are going to feel that.
Right. People want to do work with people that believe that they have a passion for what they're doing. That's what really attracts them to that. Now, as far as the time goes, 3 to 6 months, that is, a big investment from you as well as the business owner. Do you see problems sometimes with them not having the time to sit down and, talk to you about their business?
Yeah, we see it sometimes, and more so than that, we also see a lot of people that if they haven't actually launched their product or service, their mind changes about their business a lot. So that can be a really big struggle. You start with one thing, and then, a month or two passes, and then another idea comes, or they go on a trip and they see something and they want to change everything. So that's a big struggle that we have to overcome. And it can be hard to overcome. You got to kind of, what about their mind changed, kind of figure out the commonalities of the before and the after, and put them back together and kind of get back to that core.
Right. I imagine that's going to be very hard. People, business owners, especially entrepreneurs, they always have that shiny object syndrome. They're always jumping from one thing to the next. And, that's great for being creative and having ideas and wanting to do something. But that's got to be a nightmare trying to convey some of those ideas on one website or one brand.
Yeah. So, we have to really educate them and, internally figure out, what they're really wanting, and kind of keep them on track, tell them, let's go this way instead of this way.
Right. So there's definitely a consultative process in there as well.
Yes, definitely.
Okay. So Callie, give me some examples of businesses that you've worked with. What kind of problems were they having before they came to see you? What were you able to do for them? And ultimately, what was the outcome?
So I'll use one we just launched as an example. We have we have about half and half, people that have been in business for years that are looking for a full rebrand, and then people that are launching a new product that kind of come to us first. But we just launched a real estate company out in Lummi Island, which is in Washington State. And they had been in business, 10, 15 years, and they have these old systems and a website that is just, from 1996 or something. And it's just not up to date and it's just not, working for them. So what we aim to do is take, they're really well known, take that great information that they already have and that foundation they've built, but bring it into today's time and make it even better so that they're going to get more people interested and sell more houses and, just be more successful in general.
Wow, I can imagine. I mean, things have come a long way in real estate and the marketing and everything that, there's so many things that people are doing with drones to take pictures now and video.
Oh, yeah.
I imagine a 1996 website is not doing them any favors.
No, no. And it's it can be hard to let go of that for a lot of people, but once they realize how much better it's going to be and how much easier it's going to be, then, they really see why they made that investment.
So how often would you say a company should be looking at their website as far as branding and a functionality standpoint to either rebrand or update?
I like to think that, if you're not attracting your ideal customer anymore, if you keep getting clients that you don't really want to work with, that's a really good sign that you may need to take a look at that and rebrand. As well as just if you are starting to feel like you're making excuses for your brand, then that's a really good sign that, you may want to invest in getting up to date.
Mm-hmm. All right, well, let's get back to you, Callie. Tell us what drew you to this profession. What is it about helping people get that creative message out that you really like?
So I started loving design in high school and decided to go to college for it. And so I've always loved the design aspect. And then, working in the real world, or the real world I call it, but with a desk job, just I felt like it was kind of crushing my creativity, and I was not feeling fulfilled in my work. I was not feeling proud of my work. I didn't have ownership of my work. So the desire to, create what I wanted to, kind of start my business, that was my dream. And when I was starting it, I, started feeling how passionate I was feeling and how excited I was feeling. So being able to use, my skills to enable other business owners to feel that passion and to be excited and, kind of get their dreams into reality is what makes me excited about my work.
I think a lot of people go through the exact same thing that you did, after being in the corporate world for 5 years, that you knew it wasn't for you. Unfortunately, there's a lot of people that are doing the same job time and time, year upon year, for 20, 30 years before they get to that decision to follow their passion. So do you find a lot of people like that you work with that, are just, I've got to do, what I feel like I was born to do, and I got to get this message out?
Yeah, I do. And I actually love working with people that are trying to make that transition. A lot of them are still working their jobs when they come to me, and they're, working on their side hustle and working at night and on the weekends. And I really love talking to them about that and encouraging them to, take that step. And, if we get you a good brand and get you ready, you're going to be successful. And kind of just giving them that push and that motivation is really exciting, and it really is rewarding for me.
Yeah, that's got to be really fulfilling, being able to take that idea that's in somebody's head and being able to, put it in a way that people can actually relate and understand and feel that passion, and seeing it all come together. That's got to be very fulfilling. Yeah,
and I love working with them as talking to them about my story. It really resonates with me because I've been there and I've done that, and I can speak to them about that.
And then, of course, you've got the travel aspect of when people are, working for themselves, or they've got businesses that are successful and, branded well, and they've got people that are passionate about working at that business. Things tend to run a lot better too.
Definitely, yeah.
All right, Callie. Well, give me a lesson that you learned early on in your business that still impacts the way that you do business today?
So I would say that the customer is not always right, and to not always listen to your customer, which is kind of different from a lot of jobs. You hear the customer is always right, but I think in branding, the customer is not always right, and in design as well. You don't want to just take everything they say and put it into play. You need to educate them as to why that's not a good decision. And, starting out, it's a hard thing to do. It's hard to tell someone that's paying you, no, you're wrong, and, not do it. So telling them and educating them as to why has been a big lesson that I've learned. And, it's still a work in progress, but how do we tell them no in the nicest way possible and get them to understand why not?
Yeah, that's a great point. The customer is always right is not always right.
Right. Exactly.
But if somebody is paying you, they've got to be happy about the...
Yeah, you don't want a bunch of angry customers at the end.
That's right. So that's a hard balance, but obviously it's something that you do well, and still working on it. You're dealing with people ultimately.
Yes.
We all have emotions and our own opinions. So.
Yes, certainly.
All right, Callie. Well, this has been great. A lot of great information from you.
Yeah.
Co-founder of the Look and Feel branding. If somebody wants to get in touch with you, Callie, and find out more how they can get their website rebranded, what is the best way for them to do that?
So you can find us on our website at lookandfeelbranding.com, as well as my personal website is calliecullum.com. And then on Instagram, we're Look and Feel Branding, and our email is team@lookandfeelbranding.com. And all of our contact information is on our website. So if you go there, you can find it.
Excellent. Well, you definitely have a passion for what you do. And, I encourage everybody out there to really think about their brand story and think about the message that they are putting out about their business, and contact somebody like Callie to get the work done. It's very important to get that message out. So, Callie, it's about time to go traveling again and get more passion. Just came back from Copenhagen. Where's next? Where is next
is actually Nicaragua in June, so should be fun.
Awesome. What a life. I love it. All right. Well, Callie Cullum, thank you very much for being my guest on Expert Profiles today. I really enjoyed it.
Yes, me too. Thank you so much for having me.
And to our listening audience, if you like what you hear, hit that like button and share, and we'll see you next time on the show.
Thank you for listening to Expert Profiles Atlanta with Neil Howe. To learn more about the resources in the show or to listen to past episodes, visit expertprofilesatlanta.com.